This conference will now be recorded.
Yes. Good evening to one and all, sir.
Welcome to Dr. TSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello, and a warm welcome to my wonderful guests. Once again, the trio of cybercrime specialists as well as economists, and whatever they do, it is always in the larger public interest. And we are going to be joined soon by Mr. Rajendran ji, is the chairman Desai, and he is also an ex-banker and a cyber law advocate. The same time, as usual, we have Mr. Logesh Babu, is a cyber law advocate, and then our evergreen Ravichandran Swaminathan ji is also cyber crime analyst and a very good economist. Maybe as soon as they watch his face, Nirmala Sitharaman ji again wants to disrupt my channel because she was forced to speak what he wanted. I only hope, because whatever we do, it is a larger public interest. And today's subject, last 2 months people were asking me, sir, I am being blackmailed by CIBIL. Bankers blackmail, credit card division, they blackmail, everyone is blackmailing. What is CIBIL? Credit Information Bureau India Limited. Credit Information Bureau India Limited. Does it have office in India? Is it an Indian company? All the bankers, because I have tagged everyone, right from Prime Minister to the Finance Minister, all the banks. These banks are answerable. Why are you scaring people in the name of CIBIL score? So that is our topic of discussion. Not only you, even we are being scared because we bring out truth. Every time we say, sir, you close this, otherwise your CIBIL score. Credit card, those fellows, they give you all inflated figures. When you question, they threaten you, they blackmail you. Leading banks, these fellows have no shame, because we are not here personally against anyone. Our own experiences, they put debit interest, GST, it will go into lakhs. Why? Threatening you with CIBIL. CIBIL is CIBIL only for common people? Not for all businessmen who went bankrupt to courts, but I do not know, somehow again they get contracts, they enter Forbes list. This beats my intelligence. That is the reason why we wanted experts to show us the way, whether it is legal, or banks or credit card issuing authorities, are they have such type of right to blackmail us in the name of CIBIL score. If they are doing us, why not they are doing the big businessmen or corporates? Logesh Babuji, what is this CIBIL, sir?
Sir, before going into the topic, can you just allow me to share my screen or something like that?
Yes. We will soon joined by Rajendran ji. Yes, sir, you are the presenter now.
Yes. Is my screen audible? Is my screen visible to you, sir?
Make it full screen, sir.
Yeah, I'll just make it. Just. Yeah, because it's okay now, sir.
It has not moved still. You can enlarge it still. This right side, this can go off. Then it will become full screen.
Okay, we should minimize this and maximize this. Okay, just a minute. Is it visible now, sir? Full screen?
Not yet, sir. Maybe Ravichandran needs to help you.
Just a second.
Is this the one? Is this the one? If you click this, is it going to enlarge? Check this. What is this?
This one.
Here, this one.
Actually, my screen is not enlarging.
Ah. Shall I make you presenter again? Can you move the cursor? Move the cursor and then enlarge it.
No. Is it okay now?
It's like it remains the same. Can you move the screen?
See,
Even that is stuck.
no, screen is moving. I can move the screen, but I don't know why it is stuck.
Go back and come
doing?
back in again.
Just a second.
I will remove you as a presenter. You come back again. Again, I will make you. Rajendran ji, namaste. Yes,
Sir,
sir.
good evening, sir.
Sir, namaste, Rajendran ji.
Sir, namaskar.
I made you a presenter.
See
No.
now, sir.
No, it's not moving. Meanwhile, I think you keep trying.
No.
Meanwhile, I think Rajendran ji can go for introductory remarks.
No.
Yeah.
Can I just
Let
wait for about
him.
2-3 minutes? Can I wait for just about 2-3 minutes? Just about 2 minutes.
We are on live, sir.
Oh, you are on live already. Okay.
Even you want to
Okay.
present something, Rajendran ji?
No presentation. Some points. Okay. But my learned colleague Ravichandran is there. Logesh Babu is there. Ravichandran is an authority. From wherever I leave, he'll be able to take it up. Take it up to your greater heights. It's okay. So I fully trust him. I fully depend on him. Okay. We can start now.
Yeah, Logesh Babu ji, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, I don't know whether the screen is fully visible or not. So in case if it is visible, then I'll be happy. Can you see my screen, visible screen fully?
No, not yet, sir. Or else you share it on my WhatsApp. I'll try to play.
Yeah, okay. That'll be better. Just a minute.
Just send it to my WhatsApp. And meanwhile, before Rajendran ji, you are a banker, you are a cyber law advocate, and you are chairman of DISAI. When people even did not imagine what digital aspect will play a role, last 2.5 years you have been at the forefront. How do you look at the scenario of CIBIL blackmailing innocents, blackmailing everyone into submission, while the rich, though they go to bank, they go to court saying that we are bankrupt, but still they enter Forbes list? How is that CIBIL is not applicable to them?
Good evening, Dr. Shiva Prasad Reddy. It's really
Sir.
once again a good opportunity to connect your viewers, your listeners, your followers, everybody through this Elite forum. In fact, it has been quite enjoyable to share my thoughts here. The question posed by you itself is somewhat. It leads me to whatever we wanted to say. How civil is? I think you use the word something like blackmailing. What is the word you use? I'm sorry, I missed that word. Blackmailing, nah? Something like it. Something
What
like
they
that.
say, you don't pay your one installment, or they say, see, I have got a wrong statement. I have written to them, sir, this is wrong statement. I have complained, and you said you'll take action. They don't take action. Debit, interest, GST, they go on filing, though I don't use my card.
Correct.
And when I stress them
In
more,
fact,
they say, see, if you don't pay, we will send it to CIBIL. Your CIBIL score will be down. You will not get anything tomorrow. This is how I'm in writing, for no fault of us.
True, absolutely true. In fact, Dr. Reddy, I would like to view it from two broader perspective, very broader perspective. One, CIBIL as an organization, from an organizational perspective, how CIBIL is performing as an organization, as a company, as a firm. The second is the procedural issue. The procedural issue is what you have been talking about, what you have been telling that, I mean, it is actually black, something like putting a black mark against somebody. Then if somebody files a suit for recovery or waiver, or also CIBIL score gets reduced. And then if somebody's CIBIL score is constantly being viewed, the more number of times you view the CIBIL score, different bank are different. So CIBIL has an impression that he's going to apply for a loan. So he's constantly viewing it. Constant viewing itself will reduce the CIBIL score. And there is one particular angle there, in fact, by by repeatedly viewing the CIBIL score gets less. So all these are procedural issues. What I am trying to tell you is, from the broader perspective of CIBIL as an organization, number one. Number two is procedural. First, let us spend just about 2 minutes, just about 2.5-3 minutes, on the broader perspective of how CIBIL was conceptualized, how CIBIL came into being as an entity. As an entity, I will not use the word company or a firm or whatever. As an entity, as an organization, how it came into being. Originally, when CIBIL was conceptualized, before CIBIL came into being, say about 25-30 years back, whenever somebody wanted to give a loan, whether it is rural or semi-urban or urban or whatever, the bankers found it very difficult to assess not the credit paying capacity of the borrower alone, but the integrity, how his past has been, whether there is any default in some other bank. Because it was quite common for somebody to take a loan from bank X, default it, and make that go as a non-performing, because the word non-performing asset was not there about 25-30 years back. So leave the loan as a defaulted loan, then go to some other bank, take a loan, and again 2-3 years. So the lack of coordination, lack of common sharing of data among the banks was a major concern. And especially in the rural area, when somebody goes for a loan, people used to ask for a no due certificate from the rural branch. So there are 3 branches. All the branches used to give a no due certificate, stating that this agriculturist does not have any loan towards any loan taken from the bank, like that. To circumvent this, people used to go to the nearby villages or travel around 20-30 kilometers away, go to some other village and take a loan. So this was not within the purview of the non-computerized data environment about 35 years back. So let us not go into history. So the whole concept of CIBIL itself was very good. It was conceptualized that there must be a centralized database wherein, by just putting the PAN number or the address or other details, we should know that whether there are any bank dues, so that the other bank can be cautious. So this person has got a negative rating, or got a poor rating, or got a bad remark against him. He has taken a loan from bank X, he has not paid, now he is coming to bank Y. This was actually a very positive step, a welcome step, which most of the banks welcomed it. It was a very right step, very significant step in the borrower assessment of the credit department of banks. Okay, credit departments of the borrower assessment was a very major portfolio. Most of their work got reduced because of this. But there started the problem also. CIBIL was actually funded by most of the banks. Many banks having contributed to the capital of CIBIL by 5%, 10%, 15%. Even smaller banks like Indian Bank and Indian Overseas Bank also had a 5% stake as a owner's stake in CIBIL, to give an impression, a legal binding, that CIBIL is owned by all the banks. But somehow down the line, out of about 5-6 years, just like the privatization and globalization, everything came into being, CIBIL was also, many foreign companies, foreign entities started evincing interest in CIBIL. They started evincing interest in the ownership of CIBIL. So many banks, they sold their ownership stake to many foreign entities. State Bank once had a substantial stake. It reduced. Now most of the banks, they don't have. One particular company in the US called TransUnion, which originally had about 50, 60, 70% of that. Now reportedly it has around 80 to 85% of the CIBIL company as a company.
92% stake.
92, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Logesh Babu, because thank you for correcting me. So the present data he says is around 92. Okay, whatever. Now the risk from an organizational perspective, I'm still not coming to the procedural aspect. Can the millions of records of the critical data, personal critical information of bank data, lie in the hands of a foreign entity, a US registered company? 92% is a substantial thing. So most of the Indian bank, they don't have any say in the management of it. Now, does this CIBIL But RBI still says that CIBIL is still under the purview of RBI. RBI has got every right to inspect the data of CIBIL. We are inspecting it. It is subject to the regular credit monitoring mechanism or the data inspection mechanism of RBI. But how long will RBI be successful in monitoring or inspecting the day-to-day affairs of data of a company which has 92% stake in the US? I mean, which is owned by a company with 92% of ownership in the US. So this is a very larger issue. This is a major issue which I personally feel that perhaps RBI or the finance ministry did not look into such a huge gravity of the issue or the ramifications of the issue when CIBIL slowly started to drift away from the public sector banks. Of course, private sector banks also were there initially. From the Indian banks, I would rather use the word, the Indian banks to a foreign entity. So this is a major issue. Especially after the Data Privacy Act, the act has not come yet. It is being discussed for about two and a half years. Now, the data privacy or even the age-old Information Technology Act 2000, which is Amendment 2008, and intermediary guidelines which came in February of last year, they all speak about intermediary. Banks are certainly intermediary, and the bank data comes under the overall definition or the purview of critical personal information. Because critical personal information, the Act, even IT Act also in many occasions, many judgments have said that the bank information, credit card information, financial information, health information, sex orientation, all these things are the personal information of a person. They come within the definition of privacy of a person. So the privacy of the person, which consists of the personal information of so many millions and millions of rows of data, millions and millions of records of data, is in the hands of a foreign entity. So this is a major issue. How long is RBI's inspection going to be successful? This is one. The second is a procedural issue. Procedural issue is the CIBIL has its own guidelines. For example, when you apply for a waiver, it reduces it. And there are occasions when the same PAN number allotted to two different persons. CIBIL does not take care to verify who is a genuine person. Immediately it gives a negative score. There are so many cases pending in a different forum, and the banking ombudsman or the insurance ombudsman kind of an atmosphere for CIBIL also is not there. If that is there, at least there is a banking ombudsman, there is a CIBIL ombudsman, and there is a TRAI in the case of TRAI and SEBI. There are, financial, industry-wise, a sectoral regulatory body. Sectoral regulations are there. In the case of CIBIL also, if any such body is there, it would be able to immediately redress the grievances of individuals. For example, a small loan waiver, a small default of about 1 month or 2 months, a small amount, vis-a-vis a major amount, a chronic default, both affecting the CIBIL score. Based on this, a hapless consumer, he doesn't know where to approach, whom to approach, and all that. For about full 2-3 years or sometimes lifelong also, he would be rendered ineligible for any bank loan. So these are all the procedural guidelines. So these are the two major issues. Let me confine my introductory remark with these two major questions, and I would like to hear from experts like Ravichandran and Logesh Babu to take it further. Thank you, Doctor, for the opportunity. Mute.
Sir.
Mute.
Sir, unmute. Doctor, unmute.
Given a broader perspective, I think people will understand what it is. Now, Logesh Babuji, I have made you a host. Now you enlarge the screen and go ahead.
Okay, I'm trying to enlarge, but it is not there. If you possible, you can also enlarge it. There are just small points here and there to be noticed. I'll just elaborate a few things to make you understand what exactly CIBIL is. See, before going to CIBIL,
1 second, what I do is I'll take myself as a presenter, and then I will try to share your PPT
or PDF. Yes,
I'll share your PPT so that it will, because many bankers have been requesting me to send the link now. They are just awakening from slumber. Yeah. Meanwhile, it just takes some time. So meanwhile,
I'll just go through with the history of the CIBIL and what exactly CIBIL are doing, and by time we'll be discussing. Later on, we'll discuss the that PDF file also. No problem.
yeah, no problem, sir. Please go ahead.
See, actually, what has happened is earlier stages, as Mr. Rajendran was saying, this CIBIL was started a milestone. In the 2000, CIBIL was been launched or incorporated based on the recommendations made by the RBI City Committee. This is what the base of the CIBIL. In 2000, it was been incorporated based on the recommendations made by the RBI City Committee. They say. In 2004, what has happened is this credit bureau have launched in India as a consumer bureau. This is what is the upgraded version. In 2016, these commercial bureaus began to commence their operation. In 2007, CIBIL score, the first CIBIL score has been launched after getting the models from the banks and financial institutions that has been introduced. What has happened is in 2010, they have divided into two. One is for detecting CIBIL, that is the depositories, so the information of high risk activities of a person or an individual or a corporate. Another one is for CIBIL mortgage check, that is related with the mortgages which has happened in India. So these information is also being collected by CIBIL. 2011, CIBIL TransUnion score made available to the individuals. And 2017, this CIBIL TransUnion acquired more than 92.1% of the stake from the CIBIL. Now CIBIL has been slowly vanished and TransUnion CIBIL came into existence. This is what the overall gist of the CIBIL as such, CIBIL's history. What has happened is this RBI has established, which is established under the Reserve Bank of India in the year of 2020, granted recognitions. Even SEBI has granted recognitions for this regulatories, that is credit bureaus, which are operating in India. They have listed into 6 recognized credit bureaus which have been listed in India. The first one we will speak about is the CIBIL. As we all know that CIBIL collects various information from the customers that we are going to see in the PPT or the PDF which is going to be presented. Before that, I'll just shortlist. More than 600 million Indian credit history are being recorded and maintained by the CIBIL. 32 million business organizations informations are being recorded. They are maintaining this information. They say very clearly, we don't manipulate or change any information that is available with us. We are just maintaining the record for the banking, financial institutions or banking purpose for them to review. That's all. We are not going to change any data in that. So this is what the CIBIL says. Likewise, like CIBIL, we have Experian, we have CRISIL. Maybe many of us should be knowing what CRISIL is. They are giving certifications regarding their the company's standard, like AAA, A plus, AAA plus. These range of ratings has been given by this credit bureaus. This CRISIL is being operated in many other countries such as China, USA, UK, or Poland, Hong Kong, Singapore. Many countries, even this CRISIL has been used. Equifax is one of the credit bureau which has been launched in the year of 2010 in India, and they also maintain the same pattern of CIBIL scores which has been maintaining in CIBIL from 1 to 999 is the CIBIL scores, and they maintain accordingly with the credit fraud report, portfolio management, risk management. These types of information are also maintained by this credit. And the last one is ICRA, what we call as information of a credit rating agency, which was established in the year of 1991, if I'm not, 1991, and operated publicly. This also governs with the ratings of all mutual funds, construction companies, hospitals, which means each and every company or every organization which is indulged themselves in financial activities are being monitored by this credit bureaus, which has been approved or authorized or whatever the name we granted recognitions from the highest authorities like CBI, RBI. These people recognize these companies and they are kept to monitor for the usage of the banks and other financial things. The procedure what they generally make in CIBIL, because our concern is only CIBIL as such. Once the application form has been filled with the person, it had been handed, which has been handed over by the bank. These banks check with the CIBIL score or CIBIL report with the CIBIL systems, because This CIBIL has an understanding with all the banks and institutions for getting or collecting information about the individual person, and they maintain the record. These bank people cross-check this information, verify whether the creditability of that person is good or wrong, whether the repayment capacity of the person seems to be good, and they close it off whether we can give the loan or not. This is what is generally happening. Only for that reason, CIBIL scores is being monitored and done. The myth behind the CIBIL score is CIBIL related issue. I cannot bounce back from, the person is asking, can I go back from a lower CIBIL score to the higher CIBIL score? That can be easily done. The thing is, the positive repayment behavior of an individual or a citizen should be genuine. He should make the credit payment, whatever the credit payment he received, in a proper way. His income should be high, the savings should be good. Apart from this, his repayment capacity should be there. What about if my CIBIL score is really less? I cannot come back with the CIBIL score even if I pay these things, because no one gives me loan. So in that case, people began to increase, they should increase their savings thing, and the bank should realize, and only then again you'll be able to give a credit of any loan or any credit card or something like that. Again, you should prove your genuinity. Only then other banks will support you. The another thing is, the CIBIL score income based on the income and bank saving accounts. It is not based on the income and bank saving accounts, but that has been maximum level of support in case if you have good income and bank saving supports. See what exactly is happening here is, this CIBIL score, the CIBIL company, they have released in their site, that is www.cibil.com, with official partners. In that official partners page, if you go and visit, you don't see any bank there. Likewise, you see Amazon, you see there, Andro Media, Markets, and Free Charge, Inlands, Razorpay, Paytms, Policy Bazaar, all are private companies who became the partners of the CIBIL. And I don't find any companies or nationalized banks who are becoming a partner of this CIBIL and they support us. Maybe as our friend said, in the initial stages, the bank supports and they're giving fund, but not in the current situation or the current scenario. We don't find any official partners on their site. That is one point which has to be noted. And another one is that anyone can become the member of CIBIL. You can go visit the site, become the member. You have to fill in the certain criteria, and you can become the member of site. TransUnion CIBIL has more than 2,400 institutions, which are including bank, financial institutions, NBCs, NBFCs, and other members also. More than 550 million records, including all data of loan, a credit card across the urban and rural locations. This information is nearly 29 million commercial records, including informations of public and private limited firms, which is maybe small, medium, all sorts of informations are being maintained by this CIBIL. And one more interesting fact about this TransUnion CIBIL is, they have given a list of cases filed in the banks with them. Just a second. You can also visit that site. That is suit.cibil.com. If you just have an opportunity of logging in, you will be finding hundreds of data of banks which has been listed of all these things. And most interesting fact is that this information is what is being collected by the CIBIL. What CIBIL collects exactly. That is the most important or dangerous things which has to be noted or which has to be highlighted. And for that, I need this small PPT, that is PDF presentation, which has been given to you, sir. Can I just have the PPT, sir? Yeah. This is the thing. Oh, just a minute, I'll just zoom the screen. Yeah. Sir, can you go for the next one, sir? Next slide. That you have to help me. Can I move the slide? Yeah.
No, I will.
Yeah, the next one. The next one, not the content. Yeah. The next, yes. See, they have very clearly explained how the CIBIL works. How does the CIBIL work? What exactly the credit score is? They collect the information from the money lenders or the banks, give it to the bank, verify in the CIBIL service, and give the report, generate the report. After generating the report, they value it whether this person can be paid or not paid. So this is what exactly the short and sweet process of the CIBIL. That's the next one, sir. Sir, you can go for the next one. You keep on moving, sir. I'll finish it as soon as possible. See, this is what the credit score is. Just a second, just a little bit higher, little upper. Sir, down. Yes. This is what the CIBIL score is. We have not understood. Even myself, I have not understood.
Sir, your voice has become low, sir.
Yeah, myself have not understood so far how they have derived this rate score, that is 600, 700, 900, on what basis they have done, because I have not seen any explanations there, but they have given a system. If it is below 600, you are not sufficient with the CIBIL score. If it is above 750, you are a good CIBIL scorer. If it's above 800, you can get any number of values. So these they have designed and given it in an explanation format, but that is not explained to the public how they are calculating, on what basis they are calculating. If I have 2 credit card, will my credit score increase. If I have only 1 credit card, will my credit score increase. That has to be explained. That is not explained anywhere else. So little here. Next one. Sir, just pass this one, sir. I just want to show the next one. Sir, next one, sir. Next one. Next one. Yeah, this is what the information is all about. Once you get the credit
Voice, sir.
report,
Your voice.
yeah. Once you see the
Again.
credit report, you are still not audible. Hello.
Yeah, this
Hello.
is better now.
Yeah, okay. Sir, little down, sir, little down. For example, this is the person who has a credit score of 834. These informations are available publicly. What are the informations is about? The mobile numbers, the address, the contact numbers, the bank accounts, what he has, the debit and credits, what is been made. All these informations are available in the credit report. See, for example, the privacy says not to share not even the bank balance to anyone. But the credit report has which all the bank I have an account, what are the transactions I do, all the records are there, but they are not getting any permissions from the public to maintain this record. They have got directly from the RBI and they are using it. Now what has happened is none of the banks are getting partnership with this CIBIL, and they become completely a private company with the collaboration of the foreign one. Sir, next one, kindly go below. Can you see this information, sir? Yes, this employment informations, where exactly he works, how long he works, and the account informations, what types of account he has, what are the types of account he has, how long he has. All these informations are available in the credit report. Yes, sir, a little down, sir. Yes, we will have a discussion, and they are giving the reason why the loan has been rejected, what are the disputes, what is having, how it has been rejected. For example, I am a person who have a CIBIL score of 720, and the bank which was giving me a loan of 10 lakh or 5 lakh expects a CIBIL score of 750. This 25% of the CIBIL score lies on the repayment as well as the check bounce which has happened. A check bounce which has happened before 4 years or 5 years, still reflecting in my CIBIL score, and that is not getting increased. For this single person, the loan gets rejected. That is what they have explained in this page. The types of disputes they have, the errors that has been raised from the CIBIL, all these informations are very clearly given in their manual, their brochure itself. But that is not being a proper way to analyze or criticize an individual's financial thing. Sir, one more thing. Sir, down, sir. Yes. This is the dispute resolution process, what they have given. How to solve the disputes in case if I have a negative balance. What are the things I should do? These things are explained by CIBIL to make the public aware of what exactly the CIBIL score does. Sir, just go down, sir. Sir, down, sir. Okay, fine. We'll just close this PPT, sir. Yes, I think this is the last one. Sir, we'll just close this PPT, sir. Now I'll just explain. Okay. See, what has happened is this private company, which has an entity or understanding or started or established with the advice of the advisory board like CIBI and RBI, now they are being tied up their hands with a foreign company, a TransUnion company, which has been tied up with Chicago, which has been based on that area. These companies monitor all the credit informations of our country citizens. They have not given any record or recordable status saying that this server or the report are available here. Of course, they are having an office here. That is not the thing, because they have given the office address and everything very clearly. But the thing is, if the record is going out of India, who is going to monitor this thing? Who will be responsible for this thing to happen? That is the a major issue which has been raised by the government or any authority. Make the public clear what exactly this CIBIL is doing. I'll just freeze it up here, and after the conversation, we'll have a debate.
Yeah, Ravichandran ji.
Good evening, sir, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. As usual, I will start with Mr. Rajendran.
Your head down, a bit down. Head, I think. Only your mustache, you are threatening Rajendran ji.
So I will start with Mr. Rajendran. The purpose of starting CIBIL, according to the bankers, is that lack of sharing of data between banks about what loans they have given and all that. Or in other words, because the banks are not cooperating among themselves, they have appointed or outsourced their credit verification issues to a third company. Did they take the permission of the account holder before sharing this data? I don't think they have done it. Then, second thing is, CIBIL is a foreign company. Now, is sharing of data with a foreign institution permitted by the government, particularly bank statements, which banks don't give this statement even to investigating officers, saying bankers' confidentiality? Then how are you giving this to a foreign institution? Mr. Rajendran talked about RBI monitoring it. RBI is unable to monitor the public sector banks inside India. How are they going to monitor CIBIL outside India? European and US laws prohibit, remember this, US and European laws prohibit transfer of data to any country which do not have compatible laws with Europe or US. We don't have the Data Privacy Act, which means we don't have the compatibility, which means that TransUnion CIBIL cannot give the data to RBI even if RBI asks for it, or in other words, RBI cannot monitor it. Simple. Now, regarding this credit scores and all that, Dr. Reddy, you were talking about Ambani and Adani. I will go one step further. Are our public sector banks, if they are they credit worthy? If CIBIL is asked to score the public sector banks, what will they score? None of the public sector banks has repaid the loan which they have taken from RBI without taking money from without being recapitalized by the government. Even the last time they were recapitalized to the extent of 12,000 crores because some of the banks were declaring bankruptcy. On the same count, what happens to Punjab National Bank? 50% of their capital was taken by Nirav Modi. When 50% of the capital has been taken away, that bank has become bankrupt. What should be their credit score? How is it still permitted to operate, and how is RBI giving the money to them when they deny 1 lakh, 2 lakhs to me? What is the point in having a credit? And last of all, what is the credibility of the credit scoring entities? Just because Russia and Ukraine went to war and America slammed sanctions against Russia, next day, both Moody and Fitch, they downgraded Russian creditworthy to junk. So what is their credibility? Or in other words, if America says put them AAA, they will give AAA. If America says put them junk, they give them junk. And for that matter, was Kingfisher labeled as a AAA or junk? It was labeled as AAA, but it went, it cheated a lot of people. So what happened? What happened to Anil Ambani's companies? All were AAA rated. How was Anil Ambani able to take money even though he has defaulted on the loans? How was Vijay Mallya able to take loans even though he had defaulted on that? All because the Prime Minister has said. Then what happened to that credit score? And I'll give you another example. Latest State Bank of India. One gentleman in Gujarat has taken a loan from State Bank of India. He has repaid that loan. And he wanted an NOC from State Bank of India. State Bank of India says, I will not give the NOC because there is 48 paise. Remember? Pending. And this man went to court, got a court order, and only today State Bank of India has given that NOC. So till the 5-6 years that he was fighting in court, for 48 paise, his credit worthy was 0. What sort of credit worthiness can these people vouch for? Do we require such institutions or entities? And apart from what sharing of data and all that which Mr. Logesh Babu has said, there is an element of national security also.
Yes.
Most of the MSMEs are supplying material to defense sectors, space, aerospace, etc., etc. Defense industries, fertilizer industries, oil refineries, nuclear plants, most MSMEs are doing it. Now, if you have outsourced all your credit scoring to an entity sitting in America. Now, if America wants to destroy you, all that it has to do is ask CIBIL to rate the MSMEs, critical MSMEs, lower than the loan, lower than say 500 or 600 or the loan level that is required for getting a loan. Score that is required for getting a loan. All that they have to do is reduce the score to that 500, 600 level so that they don't get loans, which means that they won't be able to produce, which means automatically your security companies, defense companies will not get the material from that MSME. What will happen to the production then? Has somebody thought about all this when they gave this data to TransUnion? Have they taken permission from me as an account holder before transferring this data? And I have got a personal experience which I would like to share with the people after Mr. Rajendran answers all these questions. If he is available.
He will be available. Rajendran ji.
Okay. See, the thing is, one more thing that has to be noted. As a bank official, Mr. Rajendran will be answering, as of course. So in other countries, the period of the maintaining this record, for example, I take a loan before 5 years. After 5 years, they are still maintaining it for 7 years, 8 years, 9 years also. In other countries, they are also having CIBIL records, but after a particular period of time, they are repeating all the structures and they are making us a new CIBIL score. But that thing is not happening in India. That point also has to be noted.
My CIBIL score has remained the same for the last 10 years. I was not able to access a loan because of that.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying. See, a person who is convicted as a criminal, and went to prison. He came out of the prison. He applies for a loan. Bank gives him a loan because he's a criminal. He has not taken any loan so far. He is treated as a genuine person, and a loan has been sanctioned to him. My friend is a businessman, done business in crores. He met an accident and went on a loss. After 5 years or 4 years, he asked for a loan. None of the bankers are interested in giving the loan. This is what the practical CIBIL score is available, which has been proceeding in India. That is the most worst part of CIBIL score as such. They should. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
adding to Mr. Logesh Babu, GST, demonetization. These caused disruptions in the bank and people were unable to pay the loans for 2 months, 3 months. They were considered as defaults and their credit score was brought down. Now, finance minister says, we will give you 50,000 crores as a credit. Bank says your credit CIBIL score is very low, so we will not be able to give you the credit. So what is the point in making such announcements when you have got a lock on the credit giving facility by the bank? What Mr. Logesh Babu says is 100% right. A prisoner, a convicted prisoner can get a loan after 10 years because he has not taken any loan at all. But a man who has done business for 40 years and who has been unable to pay the loan because of government actions, is not able to get a loan because his CIBIL score is low. And
like Mr. Ravichandran. Like Mr. Ravichandran Samyan.
Yes, I was not able to get a loan. My loan was, actually I didn't know that I had a low CIBIL score because the bank did not give me that information. From 2012 to 2016, I applied the loan twice. Both the times it was rejected. Now, when the last time when I went and got the CIBIL score, I found out that a loan which I had repaid in 2009 to State Bank of Hyderabad was not written off. Why? Because there is no State Bank of Hyderabad. State Bank of Hyderabad was merged with State Bank of India, and State Bank of India did not reflect. It was not reflected on State Bank of India's books. So I got a lower score because of government interference and because of the bank's incompetence.
Ridiculous.
And added to that, another company's PAN number. See, PAN number. Then what is the use of a PAN number? Another company with a different PAN number, their credit worthiness was brought down because their name and my name happened to be similar.
The interesting fact, one more interesting fact is that, sir, if you are a guarantor of a loan taker, and if a loan taker is not paying the money properly, even your CIBIL score will get reduced. Yes, the guarantor CIBIL score also will reduce because of the one reason he has given the guarantee, he has signed in the guarantee papers. This is not the proper way of maintaining the CIBIL score, which has to be revised or monitored.
Now, since Mr. Rajendran has come back, I will start again. See, basically this.
Mr. Ravi, was not.
I feel.
My camera was not on. I was still listening, Ravi. Don't worry.
No, I know you are listening. See, no. Actually, now you are an ex-banker, so you are not responsible for all this. No, the problem is, it is the banking lobby in India is very strong. When CIBIL was introduced, I pointed out one fact. I told him that if you don't keep the branch manager in good books, all that he has to do is return a check. Your CIBIL score goes out of the window. The check may be written for any reason, and by the time you go to court, go and get back this thing, your life would have been over.
The same thing is happening for me also. Indian Bank, Allahabad Bank, that lady manager, the erstwhile, I don't know why she developed a grouse, because they were giving loans helter-skelter. When we questioned, how can you give and where is the feedback mechanism, and is bank not responsible? They developed a grouse. I paid regularly for 7 years for my car from 2014, 7 years, 2021. January, February, it should have been closed. They gave me closure this thing this year. That too after 1 year when I was consistently pursuing, and they said, you have defaulted payments. I said, show me. I was shocked. That was a shocker for me. This lady says to here, to there, new branch manager, oh, I am trying to pay from my side. I said, why the hell you should pay? Who the hell you are to pay for my? Why should you pay? I said, I wrote, and then I thought of handing it over to ACB CBI. Surely, because up till now I was waiting, because I have all the data with me. Because we are not litigants, we were expecting this zonal manager, zonal office, he doesn't have time to meet. He goes to with politicians here and there, he goes on inaugurating. With PA I have to. And when I sent a mail through zonal manager, that mail is intercepted by someone else. Can you believe? Yes, everything I'm bringing it to the notice of ACB, CBI. How these fellows work, see. This is our money, our deposits are there. We have been paying regularly. When you pay regularly, 4 months default they show you. And I insisted, show me where did I go wrong, when I have not paid. And then repo rate dynamics, that is not applied. And the other part is, I was supposed to pay only 13,699 per month as an EMI. I paid 14,000 till 84 months or more. They said it will be pre-closure because round figure. One good manager was there. She has done everything. I hold that. She said, sir, repo rate dynamics and the pre-closure because you have paid more. All that amount will lead to pre-closure. Chalo, okay, Corona samay, 2 months, but that benefit should I come? No, I should get no. But here they are showing large SC as if I have defaulted. See this nonsense. And there is same with Axis in the sin. They show you cards. When you ask where did I spend, how did I spend, give me this thing. They don't give you. And we say if you don't pay, they add debit interest, GST, and all this nonsense. And where is the internal ombudsman? We don't understand.
500 rupees bill will automatically change to 10,000 rupees.
That's what is
After
happening.
all-
I said I'm not going to pay. Now I'm going to sue that. That's what through you only we will pay, because I'm discussing very openly through this forum. Let entire India listen. These buggers who are sitting there in the bank in the AC console, these things, let them listen. Genuine and honest payers should not be troubled. We have given you everything.
Dr. Reddy, the basic problem is only this. At the time when CIBIL was brought in, at the time when the SARFAESI Act was brought in, I pointed this out at 2 meetings here in Coimbatore. In the SARFAESI Act also the same problem arose. What can you do if a bank manager goes rogue?
We will send him to jail, sir. This is India.
How can you
We
send him?
will send him.
By the time you send him to jail, you would have retired.
They have disturbed our CIBIL, but believe me, there is a compensation angle. That is why through this show, you're all advocates and you are a crime analyst. Let us take it now. Enough of this nonsense. How can a bank manager who just works for the salary, he can dictate terms to us? What is this nonsense going on? Where is the transparency and accountability? Why the hell you need to have zonal officers, administrative officers? मनमानी है क्या? बाप का पैसा है क्या? What is this nonsense, sir, going on?
See, this is what has happened. Actually, I have closed down my company also because of this. This is one of the reasons why I closed down my company.
Very sad.
Not only
And we have some good managers.
Not only you, sir.
We have
Many-
some very
many-
good managers, believe me, very good managers who came to the rescue of people during demonetization. But some others, we don't know why they develop such personal grudge.
So now,
But we will not leave them. See, if they go personal through live show, we will pursue rule of law, constitution, invoking evidential act. Will not leave you till the issue is settled and with compensation. Then you will understand. We should give it back to them, sir. 1 or 2 instances. Otherwise, what is this loot? See, they are giving money, as you mentioned, Adani, Ambani. Adani, see, we have seen it in the paper. Such a huge payment he had to make, but he is entering into Forbes list. But who is wrong? Bankers wrong. Those who are publishing, they are wrong. And Anil Ambani, you see, he went to the Supreme Court, stating that bankrupt from NCLT. He gets offset contracts of thousands of crores. How can this system work? What is CIBIL? That is why, don't you think CIBIL should be jailed once for all?
not
It
only
is
CIBIL,
illegal. All the bankers.
every credit rating industry, every credit rating unit is, in my mind, after I've seen the credit rating units junking Russian bonds, then it is at the request of some country or some group of people that these credit rating these things are working. Jackie Ma, Chinese Alibaba. What happened to Alibaba? They came out with the biggest IPO. and it was rated AAA plus because they didn't have anything over that. What happened to that? How did they rate it? On what figures that they rated? When the Moody and Fitch were questioned, they simply said that we go by the data that they give. Now, then it begs the question: if credit ratings are made based on the data that the banks are giving to them, who is rating the data that the banks are giving them? Whether it is true, whether it is false, whether it is a bank's mistake, and what is the factor of credibility that a person gains when he makes a payment despite difficult situations? Everything can't be done on a computer.
Lehman Brothers, what happened to Lehman Brothers
What
in
happened to
US?
Lehman Brothers? Correct. What happened to Lehman Brothers? These were all AAA rated companies.
They are rating us. That country rates us now. That country's company rates us. Now bankers, see, we are trying to, because many questions are coming. Banker has no right to give your personal information to CIBIL or anyone. That is first thing. Am I right or wrong? Advocates, you are there because the banker himself, Rajendran ji, is it not a private privacy between me and a banker? As banker supposed to lend my information to some organization without my permission?
But Dr. Reddy, I just want to add one point here, significant point. Most of the bank account opening forms, loan disbursal forms, loan disbursement or data, loan disbursement or even deposit, both. As a creditor, as a borrower, in both the capacities, all the account opening forms in bank, invariably they have a column in which we tick and we sign. There we give our undertaking, stating that the data in our bank can be shared for the purpose of data analysis with the credit rating agencies like CIBIL. We give an undertaking. So on this particular point, you can't sue any bank.
No. Here also, sir, here let me correct you. Courts have come out very clean. They said you publish it in such a manner people can understand and read. If you are not doing that, if you are trying to minuscule it and you are forcing someone who comes to you immediately read and write, that is not possible and that is not applicable. This is the court order. You can check. You print it in small, you display it in the bank in a big this thing, and when you give me a form, you make me to sign after reading each and everything, and that too which should be easily visible and understood in my native language. See, I may understand English, but I'm talking about rural areas, and for me also, even if I understand English, you are giving such a huge set of these things, wherein when I sign when I open the account, nothing is there. My opening of account with the bank is the standout of an agreement between a banker and a customer, and only that, then loan and everything will come. You mean to say this opening of account which I sign is a default? No terms are there like that?
And it's a purely one-sided agreement. If I don't sign it, I don't get the loan. Something like a WhatsApp. Only if you agree, you get the WhatsApp, or you don't agree, you don't take the WhatsApp.
They will never stand.
You get it. Now, will the bank agree if I sign the document and say that this particular clause I will not accept it? So it is a one-sided agreement.
Yeah, correct. See, because because see, like a contract of insurance, like a contract of guaranteed anything, the bank account opening is a bilateral contract between the banker and the person who is opening the account, whether it's a credit account or a debit account. So it could be a debtor-creditor relationship or a debtor or a creditor-debtor relationship. In either way, it's a contract. So the contract terms and conditions bind you. There, as part of the contract, the bank takes an undertaking from you that the information can be shared. As simple as that. There's nothing more to it.
Oh, okay. Now I will come down to two more questions, Dr. Reddy. Since Mr. Rajendran says that it is a contract between the bank and the customer, then in case I lose money in my account because of some Nigerian like OTP sharing or something like that, then why does the bank tell me to go to the police station and file a complaint? Why doesn't the bank do it itself?
Because that's terms and conditions.
The other
But-
aspect, if I'm depositing more than 1 lakh, 10 lakhs, where is the surety and guarantee? Why bank doesn't give them? Bank says, see, only up till 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, they are giving you. Am I right, sir? Your
Yes,
deposits
you are
are
right.
insured.
No, one minute, Dr. Reddy. In the case of what happened in the PMC Cooperative Bank, what happened in Sri Raghavendra Cooperative Bank, the finance minister comes and tells the depositors, you will get your deposits after 10 years. And most of the depositors are pensioners, 70, 80 years old. They have collected this money for their daughter's wedding. What are they supposed to do after 10 years? Doesn't the bank contract apply to them?
That's what. How is that the bank is unilateral?
Just because a customer is not able to engage a big lawyer like Mukul Rashtogi or Harish Salve or some XYZ in Supreme Court, bankers are taking the citizens for a ride and the government is helping them.
Because non-performance assets of all those businessmen close to political parties, more than 10 lakh crores, now it has become to 20 lakh crores or something like that. They, instead of going for NPAs, liquidation of NPAs, they have merged these banks. Because in auditing, everything would have come out. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're
But-
right. RBI was not able to monitor the loans in Punjab National Bank. How can they monitor CIBIL's ratings? Simple. RBI auditors have not been able to monitor Punjab National Bank, and Nirav Modi was able to siphon off more than 11,500 crores, 50% of Punjab National Bank's capital. What was RBI doing? Wasn't it monitoring Punjab National Bank? If they are not able to monitor a public sector bank within India, how are they going to monitor CIBIL? They were not able to monitor PMC where DHFL has taken the loan. They were not able to monitor Yes Bank which went bust. They were not able to monitor Global Trust Bank which was merged with some other bank. Where is the question of RBI monitoring anything? I have got a letter from RBI in one of the cases where I pointed out that a company has taken a loan of 55 crores, not 1 lakh, 2 lakhs. It has taken a loan of 55 crores against agriculture land, which was not even, a lawyer has not even given an opinion about it. And it was for an industry. How did the banks, it was a consortium of banks, how did the banks give that loan? And when I pointed this out to RBI, RBI simply gave me a letter. I've got a copy of the letter also with me. RBI simply said, we do not have the facilities to monitor the credit lending of banks. What more do
How
you want?
ridiculous. How ridiculous.
So,
Who should
Mr. Rajendran,
monitor?
with due apologies, if you say that RBI is monitoring, I can only laugh.
He's asking you to laugh. And then the other aspect, all to gentlemen, bankers giving information to Credit Information Bureau of India Limited, CIBIL, which is nothing but a US entity, TransUnion, having 92% stakes. Is it legal or illegal?
It is not legal.
Should banks be not penalized? Should people not initiate criminal action against the banks?
That is why they are not passing the act. That is why they are not passing the Data Privacy Act. That is why they are keeping the Data Privacy Act since 2019. That
Okay,
is
even
one of the main reasons why it is not being done.
Then let them not pass Data Privacy Act. Don't you think
Because
people have a right to file cases against with the ombudsman and in the courts?
yes, they can do it. They can do it. Mr. Logesh Babu himself will take it up.
Logesh Babuji.
Yes, sir.
He
Yeah,
is waiting for it. He has got so many books behind him.
yeah, my seniors' words are already always obliged. So I'm ready to take. That can be, see, certain rules and regulations has to be changed or has to be altered, because that is not the way where CIBIL should run. CIBIL should change their ways of things, because
Now, why should we have CIBIL, sir? Sir, why should we have a CIBIL whose TransUnion stake of US is 92%, taking
No.
our sensitive financial
Your-
information, sir. It is our hard work, our fortune.
Your questions have two phases. Why should we have CIBIL? Is CIBIL as a requirement for the banking or financial institutions to check whether this person is credit worthy or not. But the thing is, not with the TransUnion joint one. We need a CIBIL or we need an organization, credit organization which has been fully governed or fully monitored or controlled under the RBI, and that has to be within only India only. That data should not be given out of India in any manner. Not only through.
That's what we are saying. But at the same time, I hope Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Finance Minister, all concerned, you are listening to this. CIBIL, Credit Information Bureau of India Limited, having 92% stakes in the form of TransUnion USA. Our sensitive information, financial transactions, if that is going out of India to US, why are you keeping quiet? Where is Atmanirbhar? Where is Mera Bharat Mahan? You are giving our information on a platter and you are trying to show to the world, see these Indian companies, they are not doing well.
See,
You are not giving us any chance. You are not giving us any chance when there is no another thing, Babuji.
One small correction, sir. We are not blaming anyone. We are speaking or we are trying to convince that our data should not go out of our country. As a responsible citizen, we are trying to push it out or show to the responsible persons or ruling persons to make them aware. These are the areas where our data is going out of our country. Try to make some changes, try to make a block and try to alter the rules and regulations which has to be done. That is more important.
I will ask you straight question. Even now you make alterations. Do you think the data which is already there in a secured way about each and every citizen's fortune, you think that is going to come back to you? So do you think it would have been widely shared? One example, American-Russian war, it says Russian bonds come down. They came down. What will you do tomorrow?
Nothing can be done. See, we are addiction of free uses. Wherever we get free, we use that, right? The government says not to share the OTP to anyone. The mail ID what I received is a free email ID. The mobile number OTPs or the SMS what I received can be seen by anyone who's interrupting my mobile. Likewise, the data which is available in other countries like Facebook data, certificate, whatever the data might be, that cannot be taken back fully. They will be having a copy. Likewise, the same CIBIL.
Sir, face back, that is okay. So, but it is this intrinsic, very sensitive financial matters which we feel we are having an account with a banker, and a banker is allowing our information to be shared to CIBIL, which is not government regulated, RBI regulated, even the bank itself regulated authority. You are passing my information who has got servers in USA and 92% stake by TransUnion company. How is the bank still threatening Indians with CIBIL score? And that too, Adani or Ambani, we have no names. Big companies, big corporates, when they don't pay, when they become bankrupt, how is that they are getting loan after loan and how they are entering into Forbes list? That is my question to them. They have gone to NCLT, they have gone to Supreme Court on record. But how is that banks have given them and in their infrastructure? See, Reliance, it has come to Jio, Realcom to Jio. How did it come? And why there is no liquidation of non-performance assets till this date? That is my question. Instead of that, you are merging banks. Don't you think this is the what fiscal deficit is being more and more and more because of merging of banks, and we are not liquidating non-performance assets? And you are trying to pass on the burden to us, and you are threatening and blackmailing an innocent customer. This is what I am asking. Don't you think we have a right to question this?
We have both a right and a left.
Go ahead.
We have a right and a left to question that. But the only thing is nobody is questioning it. Because the basic problem is very few people understand what is their rights and what are their obligations. Very few people really they don't understand. And as far as banks are concerned, it is my personal opinion, it is not politicians who are running the country, it is the banks who are running the country. The banks are the oligarchs in India. That is why they are able to do everything. They have got a very strong lobby. And because of that, otherwise, in which country will a government use a taxpayer's money to recapitalize a bank
Yeah, that's
to
what.
the extent of 12 lakh crores? I am not talking about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. How many countries will permit their government to use the taxpayers' money to recapitalize banks? And when Mr. Rajendran talks about there is a statement in your account statement saying that CIBIL score will be shared, you have said that account CIBIL score will be shared. If you have not seen that and signed it, it is your fault. Okay, sir, I agree. It is my fault. I should not have come to the bank at all for the loan. First thing, that is my fault. Agreed. But doesn't the contract put any responsibility on the bank?
Whoever writes the contract will see to that no responsibility
Ah.
lies in their hand.
So whoever has the gold will make the rules.
Yes.
And if you want the gold, you follow the rules.
Yes.
That's
Not
all.
only that, the 12 lakh crores, that is our money, taxpayers' money. And when you are again recapitalizing with my money, don't you think I have a right? And who the hell you are to share my information? That I'll ask you. Why you could not run the bank properly? Why you could not run the bank properly?
That is not in the
transparent
contract.
way?
That
Why?
is not
Where
in the
are you
contract.
going now?
There
And see,
is
if
no
I have,
contract saying that I should run the bank. Otherwise, why should I have a Chitra Ramakrishnan sitting in TRJ and saying the directors are responsible? I am not responsible. So we have irresponsible managing directors, not only in the National Stock Exchange, in every public sector undertaking.
what should we do
Yes,
then?
Mr.
If that is the
Ravichandran.
case, if we believe what Rajendran ji is saying, from tomorrow, no one should go to bank, no one should have deposits. They should take away all the deposits from the banks.
Yes. I tell my people only two things. You can lose your money two ways. Either go to a bank, open an account, use net banking and lose the entire amount to a Nigerian. Or you don't use net banking and lose the entire money to the manager. You have two options.
Rajendran ji, how should we overcome this now as a banker before we say bye? How can banks improve? How can banks become credit worthy?
No,
Because it is the
outvoted here.
deposits of the people, it is the deposits of the people with which bank runs, and they get lending from lead banks like London banks and all by showing our heads as counter guarantees.
In my opening remarks itself, I mean, audible, okay. In my opening remarks itself, I told you there are two major issues. One is about the organizational setup and the ownership status of CIBIL. It was certainly wrong on the part of the government to have permitted CIBIL to be divesting of its ownership for various private sector and public sector bank. Very small banks like City Union Bank, HDFC Bank, I mean, not HDFC Bank, City Union Bank, Karur Vysya Bank, small private sector bank, up to major banks like State Bank and ICICI Bank. They all had a ownership stake. I'm not talking about the membership. I'm talking about the ownership stake. Membership is different. Ownership stake is different. So the ownership stake in India came down to around from about 80-90%. It came down to hardly about 10%. Logesh Babu said it is 8% now. So 90% is owned by the TransUnion private entity. So this is one major issue which should have caused the concern. It should have caused the alarm on the part of the government. I still feel that if somebody files a public interest litigation in a high court in India,
Yes, sir.
What?
Please go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. We are
No,
ready.
I'm
That's
there
what
to file.
huh?
I am ready to sign it.
I'm there to file.
I am ready to sign it.
my channel will support it. I'll give you evidences.
Okay. This is what I've been thinking about for the first couple of years. Somebody find, but I'm not going into the procedural issues.
Merits.
But
We
the
discussed.
organization issue is a major concern. Organization issue because it has got a ramification, it has got impact on the ownership, the accountability of the directors, as Ravichandran was rightly putting it. The accountability on the part of the ownership, the accountability on the part of the banks to share the data, and the accountability of both the parties, whether CIBIL and the bank, as the data custodians, data fiduciaries, the word which has been used in the Data Privacy Act, which is yet to come. However, whether you use the word or not, they are the data custodians. They hold my data. When somebody holds my property, even as part of the Contract Act of 1882, about 160-year-old Contract Act, as a bailor-bailee relationship, my data is with you. So you are accountable to me for my data. When my property is with you, I am the data owner. So that way the bank and the custodian and the intermediary, they are accountable to the customer, to the bank account holder. Notwithstanding the fact that bank can take an umbrage, can take a defense under the fact that there is a bilateral contract you have signed, I can share the data and all that. I am now raising a flag. I am raising a concern. My data is being unnecessarily shared and not being handled with the care which it deserves. So on this point, a PIL can be filed in which the Reserve Bank of India, the Finance Ministry, all can be taken, against whom the PL can be filed, and the major public sector bank can come as a interlocutory applicants, as an interested persons. They can file their share. So there's a very strong case for a PIL. When that comes, we can ask for some regulatory body, some regulatory mechanism, the role and responsibility of what RBI feels, what Finance Ministry is. Finance Ministry is satisfied with the way CIBIL is behaving and all that. When that comes to a definite shape, the question of ombudsman will certainly be in place, and the question of procedural issue will certainly be in place. When RBI and Finance Ministry said that we are responsible, we will hold it accountable, then naturally something like a TRAI or SEBI or Reserve Bank or RBI or IRDA, something else will certainly be in place. After that, everything will become transparent. Then RBI will certainly say that these are the columns. You have to get data like this. Whenever you get a data, you should tell the customer that so and so has asked for your data. I'm sharing it. Isn't it? The bank is supposed to tell me when somebody is asking for my data. Bank is supposed to tell me that my data is being required by such and such person or so and so company. I'm sharing it. So all these things will procedurally fall in place. If the major question of the ownership and accountability comes, I think that is what I think some attention can be given. So PIL, it is a strong ground. It's a very good ground for filing a PIL. This is what I would like to say in my concluding remarks. Thank you.
I think
will be soon proceeded with the bill, sir.
Wonderful. Public interest litigation. I think now
Yes.
the people who have been watching across India, across the globe, we are filing a public interest.
Yes, we are actually we'll open a small portal. Whoever is interested in supporting this bill related thing, they can just enter their name or with their contact numbers, so that they'll also be. We'll also show to the court that these many people have just joined us to support the bill, and will take necessary actions, and that can be updated to you in near future, sir. Whereas you can update in your sites or YouTube or whatever the sites you update, you can just update it with the comments also. That will support.
Are you announcing the portal name?
No. We'll soon announce it. Within 1 or 2 days, we'll announce it. That portal is getting ready. We'll soon announce it.
It's a big thing news coming out from this show, as pointed out by Mr. Rajendran ji, after the echo from Ravichandran ji and myself and Logesh Babu ji with all the data. We are coming out with public interest litigation under Logesh Babu ji is going to file, and for that we are coming up with a portal soon. The portal will have people sharing such concerns. You can share your name and mobile number in the portal. This to reflect in the court when we file a public interest litigation. That so and so many people are affected with this CIBIL and bank relation. This is destroying our credibility. And this CIBIL having 92% of stake in America, how they have ruined once Russia went against, how with one stroke Russian bonds this thing has come down. What tomorrow will happen to my credibility? I have signed a agreement between a bank and myself, and when something happens, see, I have seen Punjab National Bank and all other lead banks, Maharashtra also, Government is not able to disperse the amounts, the deposits which are there. They are taking 10 years. When such is the case, my money being deposited in the bank, how safe they are, no one wants to answer. Neither the bank, neither the RBI, nor the finance ministry, nor prime minister. But loans are being disbursed to all those who do not have CIBIL ratings. They have gone to high courts and the Supreme Courts, NCLT, stating they have become bankrupt. How is that CIBIL is silent and banks are silent and loan after loan was given to them? And mostly, why there is no liquidation of non-performance assets of the bank from A bank to a Z? Why banks could not liquidate? Why finance ministry is silent on that? Why prime minister is silent on that? Why Reserve Bank of India is silent on that? Had they liquidated all non-performance assets, had they allowed all the banks to function in a transparent and accountable way, don't you think this type of merging of banks would have happened? And again, as pointed out by Mr. Ravichandran ji, 12 lakh crores recapitalization. It is my money. It's our taxpayers' money. How can a government put it into banks stating that this is recapitalization of banks? If banks have not performed, if someone has looted it, they both should have been penalized and they should have been closed and their assets should have been liquidated. Instead, central government again investing money, public money, taxpayers' money to recapitalize. What is this nonsense? If I am fault, your CIBIL score comes down, I am not getting a loan. Mr. Ravichandran, unfortunately, has to close down his industry. But whereas these people who take thousands of crores run away from India and at the fault of bankers and that banking directors and managing directors and right from regional managers to managers, they are allowed to go scot-free. You are again giving money to them, but not to the people, stating that you have low CIBIL score in spite of payments, in spite of so many problems. At my end, I have shown you 3 banks, Ravichandran ji, Logesh Babu ji, and the banker himself, Mr. Rajendran ji, is echoing concerns because nationalization of banks was such a beautiful concept. From rural to semi-urban to urban areas, people used to go to the banks, deposit their gold or anything for safe custody, and with that money, they used to fund all very good activities. They used to lend in a transparent and accountable way. How bankers used to be received in villages. Now see how they are targeting innocents. Why? Because they have given loans to such people who have never come back to them. Is it not the fault of the bankers? Not just public sector, private banks. How Prudential, so many big banks have closed down. Vasavi Bank, big banks have closed down. Manmani, after some time, they go scot-free. Yes, sir.
No, AB and Amro Bank, which is a very nice bank, which has been closed.
Yeah, AB and Amro Bank. Such big banks have been closed. Why? Is there any white paper released why these banks went, not only public sector, private banks, cooperative banks? Why did they close down? What happened? Instead of that, merging banks, again recapitalizing, again investing our hard-earned money into the banks, and you expect us not to question? You blackmail us with CIBIL. That is why the PIL, public interest litigation, out of this show is going to happen. Soon we will announce a portal. All concerned citizens, you can join that portal, share the information with your mobile number and your name, so that when you file a PIL, that PIL will be a genuine one here to safeguard the beautiful customer and bank relationship, so that all those genuine who have been paying and who have got such wonderful relationship with the bank, they will all survive. Otherwise, it's a difficult entity altogether. Having all that sensitive, our financial information in the hands of America. Now you are trying to say, Mera Bharat Mahan, Atmanirbhar. Where is Atmanirbhar? Such 92% stakes in CIBIL in US TransUnion company. How is that Parliament doesn't understand? How Lok Sabha members or members of Legislative Assembly or Council, they are keeping quiet. They don't have information. Such a big issue. Such a big issue, no one speaks. It is mind-boggling. Yes, sir. Last word from each of you will wind up.
We'll soon announce a portal. We'll soon announce a portal and start the work of PIL assets. and we need all your support, especially Mr. Rajendran sir, Mr. Ravichandran sir, and Mr. Shiva Reddy sir. We'll try to support and we'll try to file a bill, and we'll try to make bring some changes in this bill. We'll try.
Definitely, we will see to that it becomes customer friendly as well as banker friendly also. We will not target anyone. We are not going to victimize anyone. No victimization.
As a
See,
common man,
bankers used to be part of a family before. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
Ravichandran.
Even now, Rajendran sir is part of our family only, sir. Banker.
He's always there. He's, believe me, when we made a cryptocurrency, people were laughing. When Rajendran was asking, are we right to do it at this time? But now it is very hot. Everyone is downloading it. This we did way back in October, November, when we both came together. We are here to give proper information. See, we have no enmity or animosity against anyone. Issue as per rule of law, constitution, invoking evidential act. That is what we try to do. No enmity. And anyone can oppose us, and you can participate in our live show. We'll invite you. You prove us wrong. What is there? Because we are here to discuss, debate, and decide. That is the beauty of democracy. Ravichandran, last word from you. We will say bye.
Bye. Unmute yourself, sir.
Unmute, sir.
It is something like a bunch of thieves joining together and creating a institution to find out which residence or which place can be safely stolen. I leave it at that.
Right. So this is for today. I hope we have been very clear with what CIBIL is and how banks have become mortgaging agents of personal and private financial information, which is very, very critical to every citizen, society, state, and country, being lent into the hands of TransUnion CIBIL, because TransUnion controls 92% stakes in CIBIL. All banks have gone out of that. Still, banks, why are they threatening innocent customers in the name of CIBIL? Every other Paytm, ATM, they say you apply for credit card, your CIBIL score is low. So to remove all this nonsense, we are going to file a bill. Let that banks and government and everyone come out. Why CIBIL? Why only for common people? Why not for those who have been taking major 90% of the loans from these banks and public sector banks? Take care, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity. Bye, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Rajendran sir, special thanks.
Because he has enormous experience. For all the Indians, we say Sukhanidra Shubharatri. Sukhanidra Shubharatri will come when you understand CIBIL and your relationship with the bank. You become sensitive. We are going to open portal. You share your concerns with your number, mobile number, and your name.
And
for
the
world over, yes, sir, please.
Yeah, and a comment too. We'll see to that it has a comment also.
You need to comment so that all this will be reflected in the bill when we present it in the court.
Yes.
Courts will have no jurisdiction. Banks are there everywhere.
Yes.
So don't worry. Banks are there, everyone. And same way, we say for all the world, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is also an awakening call for you. If they take away your hard-earned money and your fortunes, deposit someone else, somewhere else, and they try to boss over you in the form of intermediary banks, the agreement which you have signed. Wake up call for all of you. Bye, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.